Ashley, make an animal sound. Hey guys, cup of fun, back from the cupboard.
And I'm the bird's kiss.
Spaceyghost.
You're sitting on the edge, Andreas.
Yeah, I have to lean in, Dimitri. Today we're going to talk about something near and dear to all of our hearts, and then destroy it.
Oh no.
Guys, what is our favorite thing to do together?
Play D&D.
Play D&D. We're going to talk about D&D today.
D&D's good. It's good times.
So I had a thought today while I was at work. Not all stats in D&D are created equal. So I created a list, a ranking, of where I think the stats lie in Dungeons & Dragons. I'm going to tell you guys my opinions, and then you can talk about that with me.
Okay.
I thought it'd be interesting, instead of us all making lists, we just talk about it this way. So I can tell you you're all wrong. We are going to talk about the stats. I'm going to start with what I think is the most important stat and work my way down. Because I feel like that's more controversial and will trigger more people.
So, are you talking about like per class or just in general?
In general.
Huh.
I've taken all classes into account.
I feel like it's really weird to do it that way. Yeah, go for it. Go.
So, first of all, I think it's pretty obvious what the best stat in D&D is.
Constitution.
It's raining so hard. Because here, what do you think the best one is?
I think Constitution is kind of good all around for everybody. So, Constitution?
I say charisma because you can talk your way out of shit, or you could fuck your way out of shit.
True.
So,
have fun censoring that, future Andreas.
I forgot we censor things. We don't censor things.
Not since I joined your guys' videos.
Not censor. So I think the most important stat in Dungeons & Dragons is Dexterity.
That is also very important, yes.
I can get behind that.
So, out of the 12 classes in D&D, 4 of them use Dexterity as their main stat, which is the majority. There's no stat that more than 4 stats need.
Rogue.
Classes need. Fighters, if you're the Dexterity variant of Fighter. Fighters on more than one list. Monks, Rangers, and Rogues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
But even outside of that, everyone has an armor class. And unless you're wearing heavy armor, you need AC.
You need Dexterity, yeah.
Every point of AC helps. Dexterity helps. I would argue AC is more important than health, personally. Also, Initiative. What is the most common, D&D meme phrase, important thing? I have a t-shirt that says it. Roll Initiative. Initiative's important.
Mm-hmm.
And Dexterity directly affects that. It does affect some skills. Acrobatics, sleight of hand, and stealth. Stealth being important. Stealth is like a skill.
I mean, it depends on how you play. Our style of play, I feel like stealth's really important, but someone who, stabs stuff is not so important.
I feel like a whole campaign can go by without anyone touching sleight of hand. But stealth, at some point, there's something that you can't just run at. You have to sneak away from.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a big argument, though. I feel like the skills are equal. Most skills are pretty equal. There could be a video later. But depending on your DM.
Mm-hmm.
But because of those reasons, because AC, Initiative, and the classes that use it, I think Dexterity stands out ahead of the other ones, other skills.
Yeah. Also, with Dex, there tends to be moments where our DM would be like, hey, you could use either Strength or Dex for this. And a lot of times I end up going with Dex because it just makes more sense to me.
I do put points in Dex most frequently out of everything.
It's never, bad to have Dexterity.
I've made characters where I try not to use Dexterity too, though.
Yeah.
Because I use Dexterity so much.
We're going to move on to the next one. I think the second most important stat is Charisma. So, first of all, 4 classes use Charisma as their primary stat. So, Bards, Sorcerers, and Warlocks all use it as their main, spellcasting ability. It affects their damage, chance to hit, and their DC, which is important for Bards. Spell save DC. Paladins also use Charisma for spellcasting. You can argue with Paladins that, Charisma's not important. I mean, you're not a Paladin for the spells. But the social skills are just good. Like Dimitri said, you can talk your way out of things, or you can sleep your way out of things. Deception, performance, intimidation, persuasion, they're all very important skills for non-combat things in D&D. because it's not all combat.
Yeah, I mean, depending on your DM.
I forgot to mention dexterity is used for ranged and finesse weapons to hit.
Yeah.
Hit and damage.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's why charisma is my next one on the list, because it makes sense. This is my number 2, because we're going top to bottom. My third most important stat is wisdom.
Okay.
So wisdom is used, again, for 4 classes. Cleric spellcasting, which you can argue cleric is a spell box. Clerics can do anything, but, like, they're the spells, you know?
Yeah.
Druid spellcasting. Monks use wisdom as a secondary ability. Depending on what path you take, it's more important, but it also directly affects your armor class. And rangers use wisdom for their spellcasting. And rangers, like a paladin, you don't use a ranger for the spells. But also, ranger affects passive perception. Although there's a passive for every skill, perception's the one on the character sheet for a reason.
Yeah, it's pretty important.
In addition, animal handling, insight, medicine, which is, I feel, is very underused as a skill.
Oh, yeah.
Perception, which is ding, ding, ding. Who doesn't use perception? That's the skill everyone wants to have.
I've made characters based around perception.
Yes. Plus 10 perception at level 3? Sure.
Level 4, probably, more likely.
And survival. Like, a lot of good skills that are just good quality of life. Perception is so great, man.
It is.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the most common skill check.
Oh, yeah.
No research done, but perception is probably the most common skill check.
I have this one D&D character who's a ranger, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to make him unique. I'm going to have his lowest skill be wisdom, because I'm not planning on having him use spells anyways. It'll be fine. And completely forgetting that...
It's used for so many other things.
so many other things. Perception being the big one.
He doesn't notice anything.
No.
I know what character he's talking about.
So, I had... Dexterity for me was a clear first. Then, the next 3 ones were all tied, and I had to, like, fight. They're really close for me. Like, it was almost a 3-way tie I had to break.
Thing.
And then, the bottom 2 were the bottom 2. So next one, which is part of the 3-way tie, is strength. Strength is primary fighting stat from barbarians, fighters, and paladins. Paladins against spellcasters, but they hit stuff. Anyone who wants to hit anything ever uses strength. Like, every class will use their strength at some point. Even if you're not, like, a strength-based fighter.
I mean, I use dexterity more than strength.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe not dexterity-based characters, but, like, a wizard, some point in your life...
do make a lot of dexterity-based characters.
You're gonna have to, like, oh no, I'm out of spells, but I got a club.
Beat them. Beat them good.
But also, like, pushing things, lifting things, carrying things. Strength directly affects your carrying capacity. It's 15 times your strength. That's a rule in the book.
If you ever use it.
If anyone keeps track of carrying capacity.
Does anyone keep track of that stuff?
Carrying capacity, never heard of her.
But D&D is a very combat-heavy game. As much as people try to get away from it, it's made on combat. Less so 5th edition, per se, but, like, you hit stuff.
Especially in 4th edition, it was big.
And strength is just good for stuff. You know? Like, you hit things, you lift things, your
throw things.
buddy goes unconscious, you can pick them up.
Throw a dwarf.
You can't wear certain armors unless you have so much strength.
I ran into that issue recently.
Very recently. Like, hey, what's your strength? Like, 9?
10? No, it was 9. It was 9.
Don't you need, like, 15 strength for that armor? Oh. Hey, guys, I can't move.
13 strength. And you just keep cutting your face off.
I'm trying to lean in, but it's weird. Angles are weird. So the reason strength is the bottom of this is because there's only one skill for strength. That's athletics.
Yeah.
Who uses athletics?
Depends on your DM.
Yeah.
But yeah, so strength, just the usefulness of hitting things is just too relevant for Dungeons and Dragons to have strength like lower.
I mean, I like a lot of low strength characters.
So I have 2 skills left. You guys can remember what these 2 skills are. Keep track.
I know one of them's
Constitution.
intelligence.
Yeah, Constitution, Intelligence. So, second to last, I put Intelligence. One class uses Intelligence as its primary stat. 1. Wizard.
Good old study boy.
That being said, Intelligence is used for a ton of skills. Arcana, History, Investigation, Nature, and Religion.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, a lot of these skills almost feel like the same thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
religion's just history with, like, religion. Nature is the same way. Arcana is like, oh, it's history, but it's magic history.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some other things in there that make them more different than that. But they just kind of all feel samey. And if your DM doesn't care about that stuff, it's not a thing.
Yeah.
Intelligence is the only stat that does not directly affect something on your character sheet. Doesn't affect your initiative, your AC, your hit points, your carrying capacity. It's the only one that doesn't really affect any of that stuff.
It's just there. If you want to be smart, you're smart, I guess, but that's about all you got.
It's also the hardest thing to roleplay.
It is, yeah, especially if you're not an intelligent person and you have, like, oh, my character has 18 intelligence, but I'm like a 12, maybe, if I'm lucky.
If you have high strength, you can say, I hit the thing, or I lift the thing. If you have high intelligence, it's hard to be like, I say something smart.
Yeah.
So I think it's charisma, kind of. But charisma does a lot of stuff. Intelligence is just for wizards and for, like, knowing stuff.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. But compared to the other things, it just seems less useful in a D&D setting. Unless, like, that's your character.
Yeah, sure.
And last, and least, because it's the last one, Constitution.
Just Constitution.
Constitution is a primary stat for one class also. That's for Barbarian. And that's only because their AC is directly affected by Constitution. That's it. They also have a D12 hit die, so they don't even need the Constitution.
I mean, yeah, but if you got, like, a really high Constitution and you can have, like...
So Constitution does one thing and one thing only. And that's your hit points. There are no skills associated with Constitution. Constitution saving throws are very rare. They're not the rarest. Charisma's pretty rare. But Constitution's used for, like, poison... I guess they're... I take it back, they're not horribly rare. They're used commonly.
But, like...
Use Dexterity saving throws way more than Constitution saving throws. Use Wisdom saving throws way more than Constitution saving throws.
But hey, if you want a character that just has a whole bunch of health points...
15 health points at level... No, 17 health points at level 1. Plausible with Barbarian.
It's fun having a lot of health, but in my opinion, AC outdoes health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get that.
Everyone has health. And I feel like having more AC will get you further than having more hit points.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because, like, in the book, a lot of the times they're like, oh, take this skill as your second, or take Constitution. Cause
It always says Constitution.
they always say Constitution because it's, like, perceived as something so important, but I also agree it's not necessarily the most important thing.
You only
because-
need one hit point.
Yeah, you only need one hit point to do your
That
thing.
being said, right here next to us, here's a Constitution-based character I made because they're fun. His name is Osmond. He's level 3 and has 36 hit points. And he's a sorcerer.
He's a sorcerer.
He has a D6 hit die, but Constitution plus dwarves. I'm proud of that. So yeah, Constitution, not useless. But not as useful as any other skill, in my opinion. I'm at the end of my list, guys.
Oh boy.
So, you guys have anything to say about what I said?
They're all
Some off screen again.
valid points.
Yeah, like, I can agree with, like, your standing on things.
I never really, like, put much thought into, like, what skills are important. So, like, yeah, I want this character to be like this, so I'll give them this skill. I don't really think about, like, what skill is going to be the most useful. I just build the character.
That's kind of, like, how I go about it. Like, oh, we hardly ever use, like, these roles, so why even put stats into that?
I feel that way sometimes, but like I said, Osmond, this guy over here, his main stat is health. Just because I think it would be fun to have a character whose priority in life is to get hit a lot. But also he's a sorcerer.
It's fine.
So I don't think it's, even though it's my least favorite's not the word, what I believe to be the least useful stat, still his max, and he's my favorite character right now. Surprise. So that's my thoughts on the skills in D&D. I don't think they're completely balanced, but I think the lack of balance is what makes them fun.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. That means a lot. What are you guys laughing at?
You started saying something.
There are buttons and links everywhere, and you know which ones to press. Thanks for watching, and of course, until next time, have a great life.
You guys are awesome. Bye-bye.
See you in the future. Bye.
My wife went off screen.